Welcome to the Songwriter Connection podcast, where we look at the craft of songwriting through the eyes of the songwriter. Each week, we make a connection with a music maker, listen to their songs, and hear their stories. From Nashville, Tennessee, here's your host, Dave Lenahan.
Have I told you lately how much I appreciate you? I really do. You know, one of the best bosses I ever had in the business used to say, I appreciate you, Dave. And it always meant a lot to me. You know, it really did. So to you, I say, highest compliment, I appreciate you because you're making us one of the most popular songwriting and music podcasts on the internet right now. And that's because you spread the word. And I appreciate that. And all the likes and the subscriptions and the comments, it just means the world. It just does my heart proud. So thank you so much. We talk a lot about a few different things that I harp on. I get on that soapbox, you know, I don't believe in genres. And I there's this misconception that drives me crazy that when they say you live in Nashville, you must really love country music. And I go, yeah, I do, yeah. But, you know, Nashville is not just a country music town. It really isn't. It's Music City. And if you believe in genres, we've got them all. We do. From jazz to pop, country, folk. We have got it all right here. And I used to tell folks, if you want a taste of real Nashville, which, by the way, they say Nashville is a drinking town with a music problem, right? But if you want a taste of what Nashville is all about, I recommend listening to this radio station I found a few months back called Radio Sobro. Radio Sobro is an internet radio station. Radio Sobro, think of like in south of Broad. Think of Sobro. And you are going to hear a mix of some of the greatest young artists that this town has to offer. And they mix it all in. And it's just amazing. I love to go there and discover new artists. So one day, I'm on the way to a writer's round that I do. And I'm listening to Sobro, and I got it cranked in my car. And this song comes on. And it absolutely blows me away. So people say, well, how do you judge if you don't believe in genres? How do you decide what's a good song? And for me, it's like if I go, man, I wish I'd have written that. You know, or if I hear this singer and I go, man, if I could sing half that good, I'd be twice as good as I am right now. So that was the case on this song. And I want to play it for you in just a little bit. It just grabbed me right away. The lyrics, the melody, and then she delivers the chorus in the hook. And I'm like, oh, I am hooked. I definitely am. Then the second verse comes on and she takes it to this another level. And I'm, God, who is this girl? She can sing, man. And then she brings it back down to the chorus. And I'm like, I got to know who this is. So what I did is I looked up the song, looked up the artist, and immediately added it on my Spotify playlist. And I'm telling you, from then I've had to listen to everything she's written and done. And I am so excited to meet her today and to bring her on for you to make the connection with Sheyna G. How are you, Sheyna? Thank you for coming.
Oh, I didn't know you were talking about me.
I'm talking about you, girl. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to meet you and see you. And I mean, I know we've met digitally, but nice to meet you in person.
In person is always better.
It is.
And we used to be neighbors not too long ago.
So crazy. Nashville, when they say is a little big town, it really is a little big town.
It's a little big town. You used to walk your dog past my house and stuff, huh?
Every day. It's so crazy.
God. That is nuts. Well, good to finally meet you.
Yes.
You've got a fan in me. You've blown me away.
Thank you. Well, your words, I'm already just dying over here right now. This is a great start. This is the nicest introduction anyone's ever given for me.
Well, you're welcome, and it's deserving. So let me tell you, can I play the song? This is the song.
Which song hooked you? Now I'm curious.
You're curious. This is the one that first hooked me.
Oh, The Moon.
I love this song. It's called The Moon. Sheyna G is our guest on the Songwriter Connection podcast. Listen to this.
Things right now ain't like they used to be, 'cause I got all I need and a little bit of change. Don't ask why, it's a perfect day. I really can't complain about anything. Growing up, I always heard that things get better, but I'm not sure, 'cause I can't imagine how that could even happen. If it only goes up from here, then I'm gonna touch the moon, swim through the atmosphere, and then swing by the rings of Saturn, and visit Venus too, and I won't come down. should see the view. It's just like snow on Christmas Day. A breakfast and last night's birthday cake. Sunrise talks with your best friend about the places that you've been. If it only goes up from here, then I'm gonna touch the moon. Swim through the atmosphere, and then swing by the rings of Saturn and visit Venus too. And I won't come down anytime soon. No, I won't come down. No, no, I won't come down. It only goes up from here, then I'm gonna touch the moon. If it only goes up from here, then I'm gonna touch the moon. Swim through the atmosphere, and then swing by the rings of Saturn and visit Venus too. No, I won't come down. No, I won't come down. I'm gonna touch the moon.
I guarantee you're going to be singing that for the rest of the day. Thank you. You're welcome. The Moon. It's Sheyna G is our guest on the Songwriter Connection podcast. She's going to play for us live around the dining room table here in just a little bit. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Story behind the song? We always like that.
Yeah, I wrote that song with my bass player, Dean. Dean Purificato. He also puts out music. He's like a singer-songwriter meets the Backstreet Boys. So it's super...
There's a combination.
When they say Nashville isn't just country, I tell you, it's not.
It's a music town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was our first write together. I was writing for a project last year for that EP. I was going a little more on the rock side for that EP.
Yeah.
And I felt like I didn't really have like a, big power song. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a ballad, but just a powerful
Power song. Yeah.
And we got together and we smoked pot for about an hour, and we were like both just having like a really good week and really happy. And we're like, I don't know how I'm gonna write a song because like all my songs are sad.
Yeah.
And we're like, let's just like write about being happy. And I was like, that saying, like if it only goes up from here. And he's like, no. I was like, well, it's a saying, they say it only goes up from here. And so we just kind of like made that like the thing, and
it's so
took
cool.
little pieces of like some of my favorite songs that are like big, songs. I don't know. I get a lot of inspiration from like, I play What's Up every night, and I wanted to write something with that like kind of feel where it's like it's not necessarily a happy song. It's not necessarily a sad song. It's just like a powerful song. Linda Perry's a badass. So
that's a good comparison, because that's another one of those songs that just gets stuck in your head.
Yes.
What's that? What's going on? Yeah. Great song. I bet you'd cover that great when you
I play it every night. So I'll let the people be the judge of that.
Well, very cool. It's good to have you. You're a California girl, right?
I am. Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Yep.
Whereabouts?
About 30 minutes east of Los Angeles.
I read Upland. Is that true?
Rancho Cucamonga.
Okay.
So I went to Upland High School, but I transferred to that high school, which was in the next city over, because I was a really bad kid and I ran away from home when I was 16. And my mom, when I came back, was like, you're not hanging out with those kids. You're going to a new school, which was for the best, because I ended up being, having a great group of friends at the next high school that I went to. And
fantastic. Do you know, you started like 5 years old playing music?
Yep.
You got the call very early, didn't you?
Yeah, my parents got divorced when I was 5, and my mom...
Either of them musical? Or
No, my parents aren't musical. My mom just wanted me to have a hobby, and she tried to put me in sports, and that was not working.
No way.
And so I was like, I want to play guitar, and my guitar teacher decided that he would teach me. I was the youngest. My mom at
5.
Yeah. that he was like, if you can find a guitar that she can hold, then I'll get it for you, or then I'll teach her. And so she ordered like a 3/4 scale guitar on the internet, and we I don't even think it was the internet. I think she had to order it through the guitar shop at the time, because this was in the early 90s. So
we were still dial up AOL.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She had to like go order it from a music store. You just think the internet, like, it's just always been around, but no, we had to like do things the old fashioned way at one point.
And I understand you started writing music right away, huh? Like 6 years old, you was writing stuff?
I did. Just always was a thing in school. I wasn't a very like traditional education kind of person, so whenever there was a project, it was like, can I write a song instead?
I love it.
And so my teachers pretty much were always like, yeah, sure, whatever. So everyone around me has always been like super encouraging.
And then you had a chance to get in front of the class and perform it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you like performing right away too.
Yeah, it was just natural.
You have a passion for performing, don't you?
I do.
Love it, don't you?
I love
travel
it.
all over. She just got back, and we're doing this show in May, and you just got back from Europe where you did a show, and then you played in Texas for a while, and then like next week you're going back over the pond, right?
I am.
Where you? Where? What? Tell me.
I'll be just doing a few cities on this run. I'll be doing England, Ireland, Scotland, and then closing it out in Sweden, and then playing a whole string of shows in the States this summer. So super excited to just stay on the road and
that's awesome.
Shake babies and kiss hands.
We always used to say that too. Go out and shake babies and kiss hands. We always used to say that in radio. So well, that's cool. See, you've built quite an audience then.
I'm still getting started. I feel like I'm just starting to hit my stride, and I've been in Nashville for a really long time, and and the people have been coming to me, and it's time for me to go get out and meet all the people. And
absolutely.
Broadway's been a great place to like nurture my grow my stage show and nurture my fan base and stuff. And now I'm excited to like see the world.
That's one thing Broadway will do for you. You've got an active audience, and you got to capture them, and you got to keep it going.
Yeah.
Or they don't have you back.
Exactly. Well, and people complain about Broadway a lot, but Broadway has been nothing but amazing for me. So
I'll bet.
I've used it as a tool, and I got sucked into it a little bit, and sucked into the alcohol for a few years and stuff like that. But once you get that out of your system, it's great.
You still do occasional shows, right?
Yeah, I still play there twice a week. It's my day job. It funds.
Where can we come see you?
I play at Whiskey Row. Dirk Bentley's on the corner of 4th and Broadway.
Far from the Ryman?
Yeah, right behind it, in fact. They're building Morgan Wallen's in between.
Yes,
but they're
I heard that. Wow.
But I will do that until I can afford to not do it. But right now it's funding my travel and funding my original career. And
very good.
It's a great way to practice twice a week.
Awesome. Yeah. It keeps your chops sharp.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Very good. I'd love to hear another song. You've got a beautiful Gibson guitar over there.
Yeah.
Which you've like you Willie Nelson did.
I know.
You've got some
Trigger Jr.
Trigger Jr. over here. It's a beautiful guitar, and you can tell it's played.
Thank you. So. Yeah, I played this guitar. I got it new in 2016. And for those people that are listening, it has a giant hole above the sound hole, so it's my second sound hole. But I played it 4 to 8 hours a day when I was drinking very heavily, and just strummed the shit out of it. And gave it a little character. Now I'm a little lighter on the bottle, so I'm trying not to do as much damage anymore. But
yeah, it's easy to fall into that when you're playing.
Absolutely. This business is a drinking business. Our job is to sell beer. It's not even to play music. So
that is exactly right.
It's easier to sell beer when you're drinking it.
Have one of these folks, raise them up, holler and a swaller.
Exactly.
Right?
And I haven't put the bottle down completely. I just put a nipple on it.
I love that.
But I'm going to play you a song that is about where my life's at right now. This is a song I wrote about my boyfriend called Fix Things.
Things.
Was a drip in the sink that wouldn't quit, so you tightened it up with a crescent wrench. In that 87 Pontiac, you had it running in no time flat. The old screen door never closed right. You got your hands on it, now it's just fine. If you can fix things when they fall apart, maybe you could fix a broken heart. Take these pieces, make me whole, put me back together. I can't do it on my own. Use a hammer and a nail, a little duct tape and some glue. Well, I know that I've been used, 'cause you make me good as new. If you can fix things when they fall apart, maybe you could fix a broken heart. The hole in the wall, you patched it up. That X ever left when he got too drunk. Right before he left for Santa Fe, was he the only thing he broke that day? Take these pieces, make me whole, put me back together. I can't do it on my own. Use a hammer and a nail, a little duct tape and some glue. Well, I know that I've been used, 'cause you make me good as new. If you can fix things when they fall apart, maybe you could fix a broken heart. Take these pieces, make me whole, put me back together. I can't do it on my own. Use a hammer and a nail, a little duct tape and some glue. Well, I know that I've been used, 'cause you make me good as new. If you can fix things when they fall apart, maybe you could fix a broken heart. If you could fix things when they fall apart, maybe you could fix this broken heart.
Duct tape can fix anything.
Exactly.
So good, that song. Wonderful song.
Thank you.
What's your boyfriend's name? Give me a shout.
His name is Jason.
Jason
Roberson.
Man, Jason, how about that song? What did he say when he first heard that?
He knew it was coming, kind of. I had the idea for if you can fix things when they fall apart, maybe you can fix a broken heart for about a year before I wrote it. And he kept being like, when are you going to write it? I'm like, I'm just waiting for the right writer. Like, I want to write it. I want to bring it into the right. If that makes any sense. And I had brought it up with the couple top line writers that I had written with, and none of them like really jumped on it. So I just like was like, I wasn't going to like push it in a right that wasn't right.
Right. right.
How many
You're looking
times
for Mr. or Mrs. Right.
Yeah. And I ended up in a right with one of my girlfriends that she was one of my first friends in Nashville. We are actually putting together a tour package right now for her band and my band to go on tour together. But she and I get together like once every couple months, and sometimes we end up just hanging out. Sometimes we end up actually writing a song. You know how it is. And we had been hanging out for like 2 hours, and we're like, do we write a song? We only have about an hour left, or do we just keep shooting the shit? And we're like, let's try. And I was like, I have this like idea that I've been holding on to. Like, what do you? And she's like, yes. And we literally wrote it in 15 minutes.
How about that?
It was one of those like, you
when
know,
it's right,
you just needed the other person in the room, and it just kind of fell out. You know?
Yeah. When the timing's right and you got a good idea. Sometimes that happens.
It just happens.
Yeah.
It's just when it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
It's meant to be, yeah. It's one of your favorites these days?
That's definitely, it's my closer in my set. Yeah,
that's a
for
good
sure.
Closer.
That's
a good closer.
Absolutely. I wish I would have trimmed my nails before this though, but whatever. I was feeling that I was like, whatever.
Yeah, if you're a really good guitar player, that's hard. You you can't have the real blingy.
Yeah, I'm not a good guitar player, and so I need my nails to be super, super short so that I can do this. I mean, I see Dolly Parton, like, she uses her nails to push the strings down, and I'm like,
And her secret is all those open tunings too.
I know, but man, she makes it look, because I'm that way with like style. Like I'm definitely a very extra person. I'm a Dolly Sheyna type person, and so I want the long nails.
Did you see my Dolly Funko Pop? That's rock and roll Dolly, right there.
Which she's coming out with that rock and roll album. I'm so excited.
She is in the Rock Hall of Fame. You know,
I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. But
now you kind of grew up on rock music, didn't you?
I did. I sure did. Mm-hmm. I found country music as an adult.
So did I.
Yeah. But I was definitely raised a rocker. Zeppelin's always been one of my favorite bands.
I can hear that.
The California rock and roll with like Bad Religion, Sublime.
Oh yeah.
A bunch of that kind of music has always been
my
favorite. Like I was a 90s kid, so Green Day and then the early 2000s Fall Out Boy and Weezer and Foo Fighters and all that stuff. Nirvana gave us two of the best bands of all time.
Yes,
we got Nirvana and Foo.
Absolutely.
So I absolutely love rock and roll, and you can definitely hear that in a lot of my music. But but country has always just come naturally to me, and I write it, and I wrote it all when I was younger and was trying to force it into country or into rock and roll production, and it was just like, this isn't right.
It's not quite you yet. But
yeah,
you have to learn and you have to evolve, and
absolutely, especially like starting that young, you don't know who you are, and I'm probably going to change 1,000 more times before the end of my life.
I'll bet you will, but always for the better.
Yeah, I feel like it's okay to put out the music you feel at that time.
I agree. I absolutely agree, and then we talk about that with when I get on the soapbox, talk about genres. If you don't know who you are, find out. You're going to find out. Play like, get out there, and you've been doing it from a very young age. 12 years old, you signed your first. You had a sponsor with a guitar company.
There wasn't a lot of 12-year-old girl guitar players, and this was a guitar brand that was focused to young girls, so it was like I was pretty much shoo-in for that.
Daisy Rock guitars or something?
Daisy Rock guitars,
Rock guitars.
They were
And then you were on like covers of books at that age, was it? Around that age, yeah.
I got my $100 for being on like over like 2 million books.
Wow.
So my mom wasn't the best momager back at the time.
Should have had a lot more money than that, I was going to say. But the exposure, right? Right.
If I could air quote, and
doesn't pay a lot, but it's good exposure. Yeah, we can't put food on the table with exposure, right? Yeah. So, Yeah. What brought you to Nashville? What was the idea?
Country music, baby.
I fell into country.
Yeah, I was playing music in LA, and I started playing cover bands when I was really young, but I got into playing in specifically country cover bands about 10 years ago, and after 3 years in LA, I had my 90-minute original set, and I had opened for every band that passed through, and
I saw some of the things you opened for Elton John, Stevie Wonder, oh my god.
But like I had started getting into the country thing, and like I was opening for like Easton Corbin and David Nail and all those like mid 2000s people as when they'd pass through LA.
Sure.
And it kind of got to the point where it's like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I need to live in Nashville. Like I was already traveling back and forth here since 2008.
And that's a long commute.
It was definitely, and it's cheaper to live in Nashville and stay with my mom when I'm in town than it is to live in LA on my own and stay in Nashville, and it'd be $1,000 for the week. And as an early 20s kid that's playing music for a living, that was my whole month's pay, where it's like, okay, I could live here. And at the time when I moved to Nashville, I was paying $400 for a room. Now things have dramatically changed in the last 7 years, but now I'm paying 5 times that, but it was amazing.
But still, compared to L.A., housing in L.A.
Oh yeah, I couldn't. The standard of living is totally different.
Completely different. Yeah,
totally different. But I also miss the beach.
I bet you do. I bet you do. I do too.
Right.
The beach of Cleveland, the North Coast, is where I grew
North
up.
Coast,
Lake Erie.
Hey.
Yeah, but rock and roll capital of the world.
Yep.
Because that's where the phrase was coined. By a DJ named Alan Freed back in the 50s. Did you know that? Now you do.
I didn't know that. I knew the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was there, but I didn't know
I visited there
why.
not too long ago again, and it had been almost 20 years since I'd been there, and I just loved it. I had just a wonderful time. My nephew Paul works there now, and he kind of gave us a little tour.
A little tour?
Yeah.
I've got to check it out still. One of the places I haven't been
cool.
to Ohio yet. But
Yeah,
I love
I went
that everyone from Ohio knows OH.
All right. I.O.
Yeah,
there you
it's
go,
my
baby.
favorite.
You got to get your manager to get you some shows up in the Cleveland area.
I am my manager, so
You are
I guess I got to get myself some shows.
Make a note of it. Yeah. So you're the whole what we call the DIY artist. So you do it all from the socials to everything and the booking.
I'm the quintessential DIYer.
That's awesome.
A one-man shop, and I love it and hate it at the same time, you know?
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, because it can be tedious, can't it? But you have to do it.
Oh, yeah. I was posting on TikTok on the way over here. And,
Got to do the TikTok thing. Yeah.
We're live on TikTok right now during this interview. So, you know, we're working 24/7.
Tag me because I have very few videos. You know, that would be awesome if you did.
Yeah. TikTok is not the same as how Instagram, you can tag people in stories. You can't do that on TikTok. You can only tag them in your actual posts.
Oh, well.
So,
okay. Well.
They hear Songwriting Connection.
I can share it, though.
Dave Latham. Yeah.
I'm still learning TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, hey, you got a band and it's called The Boys?
We go through different names, but The Boys, I'm toying around with some official names, but until we come up with a real name, The Boys is it, because it's always a bunch of boys. I've never had a girl in my band. I guess when I do, I'll change it.
Them.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that was taken. Yeah. And your latest EP, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Angela.
Yes.
4 songs on there? 5?
Yeah,
4.
4.
But they're awesome songs, and you wrote or co-wrote every single one of them.
Yeah, totally. And it's actually an accidental EP. I was, being the DIYer that I am, I was experimenting with a waterfall release, and I didn't exactly know what it was, but I knew I wanted these 4 singles to get a lot of plays.
Now, I got to stop. What is a waterfall release?
So it's where you release the first song under like the same code, and then when you release the second one, you release it as a 2-song release. And then that way, every time that first song plays, the second song plays right after it. And then when the third song comes out, but I didn't realize that at the end, it all becomes an EP. But so I need
to talk to you about that off mic.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily mean to put out the Angela EP. It was my accidental EP, but it's a happy accident. It's kind of like when you accidentally get pregnant, but then your baby ends up winning a Nobel Peace Prize, you know? It was great. But Angela was not supposed to be born. It was just supposed to be a single.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy with it because that group of songs fits together so well. And
they do.
And it's kind of it's such a departure from the music that I had put out before, and it's such a departure from the music that I'm about to put out that it makes sense that it's all in one thing. Gotcha. So like Angela is now kind of my alter ego.
Awesome. Okay. I want to hear more about Angela, and I also want to talk about what's happening in the future for you. But can we take a break? When we come back, maybe you can play something from Angela?
Sounds great.
Yeah, be right back.
You're listening to the Songwriter Connection, connecting with music makers and hearing their songs and stories. Now back to the show with your host, Dave Linehan.
Sheyna G is our guest on the podcast, and Sheyna, good to have you. I love the name G. So was that the family name? G?
It sure is.
It sure is. Is it really?
It's my real last name.
Yeah, we were talking about Cleveland a little while ago. There was a DJ. Now, I really don't remember him on the air. It had been probably when I was very, very young. His name was Jerry G. And Jerry G was very popular. And he moved to the West Coast, and I guess he was a DJ. I don't know if it was L.A. or San Diego or San Francisco, but I know he went out there. His son became a rock legend in Cleveland. His name was Michael Stanley G. And he went by Michael Stanley and the Michael Stanley Band. They were really big in the 80s. Set all attendance records at Blossom Music Center there. And I've always was a big fan. He really was the first one that I admired as a songwriter enough to go, I really want to learn this craft, you know. And I'm still a big fan of him, although we lost him a couple of years ago. But that's the first thing I just, I wonder if there was a relation there.
I don't know my dad's side of the family, so there totally could be.
Could be. You never know.
Yeah.
So I digress. The latest EP, I should say, is Angela, and you're going to play something from that. Tell us a little bit about the song.
Yeah, I'm going to play y'all a song called "Lost and Found."
I love this song.
Yeah, this song was a song I wrote in 2021, and I was going to put it out, made a demo of it. A plugger got a hold of it and wanted to pitch it. And then when she told me who wanted the song, I was like, oh no, I want to do this song, and like I want to cut it. And I don't know if that was the right choice or not, but
was it somebody big?
It was, but
we're not gonna drop names.
Yeah, no, yeah. But it was just, I was like, oh, if you think it's good enough for that guy, it was for a male artist, then it'll be totally good enough for me. And it made all the playlists, and it was my first single in 2 years, so I'm happy with it. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's about winners and losers in Red Door, because I used to live right behind them in Midtown, and so it's about hanging out at those bars.
Those clubs in Midtown, losers
Exactly.
and winners and the Red Bar.
Yeah.
Okay. So people know. There you go.
All right.
You left your ex here, spent the next year hoping that something better'd walk right through the door. Then one day you did, and made you forgive about all the things that had been here before. And it goes like, can I get you a drink? And then you're laughing, and you don't know how it happens, but you always look back home Friday night. Strangers and lovers hang around with friends who haven't settled down. Another dive we go to town where we get lost and found. Smoky section, barroom lessons, bubbled with some over one last cigarette. Sometimes you give more than you'll forget. Oh, and somehow you look up and it's already 3 a.m. Can I get you a drink? And then you're laughing and you don't know how it happens, but you always end up back home Friday night. Strangers and lovers hang around with friends who haven't settled down. Another dive we hold to drown where we get lost and found. Almost every single night something else gets left behind. Never know what you might find underneath the neon light. Can I get you a drink? And then you're laughing and you don't know how it happens, but you always end up back on Friday night. Strangers and lovers hang around with friends who haven't settled down. Another dive we hold to drown where we get lost and found. Where we get lost and found. Oh, we get lost and found. Oh, where we get lost and found.
Sheyna G on our podcast today, The Songwriter Connection. Great song. Where did you learn to sing like that, girl? I love that. I love your voice. You get that growl, that kind of raspy rock feel that you put into your country music.
Thank you so much. Smoking a lot of pot, man. I really like. I
there's
wish
more
there
to
was
that.
a better explanation, but
Yeah. You bring a passion to it too. You know that
Thank
to me, you
you.
can't fake it.
Thank you.
can't fake it.
I think just a lot of years of partying. Because if you listen to older recordings, my voice isn't quite as quote unquote seasoned as it was. But now,
Back then, yeah.
and now I've learned how to control it. I think probably 5 years ago or so, it came when it came. And
Did you do some vocal training?
no, I just
never? Okay.
just Broadway. I really
Broadway.
feel like.
Yeah, that's been your education.
It really has been. When you sing for 4 to 8 hours a day. Before COVID, I was doing Thursday through Mondays, and on Thursday and Saturday it was a double. So 5 days a week 3 days a week I was playing 4 hours, and 2 days a week I was playing 8 hours.
Wow.
And when you play the biggest hits of all time,
Yeah,
and you're
you have
singing
to.
some of the best singers of all time, you just kind of learn. Like when the first time I played a Martina McBride song, it was probably the worst thing that ever happened.
Because her range is
incredible. And when you go from playing Martina McBride to Whitney Houston to Elton John to Robert Plant, you kind of learn how to sing. Like it's baptism by fire, like for sure.
Did you ever have any vocal problems at all from doing all that?
Freaking, I want to knock on all of the things that you have that are wood.
Sorry to ask that question.
I have been so lucky.
Well, you must use your instrument well.
I hope so. Yeah. I went to an art camp when I was 16 that had vocal training for a week. I did a course in LA for a week, and I've just been I have that lucky girl syndrome. Like I'm very unlucky in a lot of things. Like my life story is as tragic as they get, but I've been lucky in things that I've definitely won art awards really young, and it wasn't because I was any better than anyone else. It was because I was a young girl that was doing it younger than most people started. So I got to, because I had a single mom that couldn't afford to put me into all the things, but I, like I said, got an art scholarship to a camp that, I wouldn't have been able to do. I've just been able to do things that, so I haven't taken lessons necessarily, but I've definitely learned like the tricks of breathing from your diaphragm and like the things, and just kind of like try to remember those things, because this is the only thing I can do. And if I lose my voice, the only other thing I could do is like wait tables. I'm like not educated. I'm not any, I don't have any special skills. So I got to kind of like make sure that this works. This is the only thing I got.
One of the awards, you mentioned awards, the National Foundation for Advancement of the Arts, the NFAA.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
You were a finalist in the vocal performance, and you won second place out of 7,000 entries. And the thing that that makes that so relevant is they didn't really look at rock acts then. It really brought credibility to rock music then, didn't it?
Yeah, at the time I had a song that was a rock cover of Wouldn't It Be Nice by the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
And we had like turned it into punk rock and double time and like whatever. And I had put out a CD when I was like 16, and now those songs are laughable. But like what was a 13 to, because I recorded it when I was 13 to 15 and put it out when I was 16. Like what was a person like that thinking, writing? But like I said, like it was just one of those things where there wasn't a whole lot of girls doing that. This is a long time ago. Now, every parent encourages their kid to do whatever. Yeah. But at the time, all my friends were playing soccer and going to church camp and like doing whatever. And I was like, I'm going to play the Showcase Theater. I'm going to play the Whiskey this weekend. Like,
Whiskey a Go-Go you played, didn't you? Oh my gosh. That's legendary. Wow. Fantastic. Yeah. I want to talk about co-writing a little bit, because we talk about co-writing a bit here. In Nashville is co-writing town too. I don't imagine you did a lot of that in L.A., or did you?
I did.
Did you? Because I noticed a lot of solo writes in what you do.
Yeah, I mean, solo writes, I don't force myself to write. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And I love co-writing because it makes you schedule a write. And I wouldn't necessarily say I co-wrote in LA, but I had bands that I jammed with a lot, and we would end up writing. Yeah. So I consider that like my early co-writing experiences.
Gotcha. I bring it all up because the last song you just did, Lost and Found, 5 writers on that.
Yes.
And I'm seeing that a lot more in popular and country music today, where you're seeing 5, 6, 7 writers on the song.
This was 2 separate writes, and that's why.
So bringing other people in.
Yeah, I had thought the chorus was strong in that song when I wrote it the first time. And I had kind of messed with the verses a little bit, and I just couldn't put my finger on like how to make the chorus relate to the verses, because like they were 2 good things, they were just separate, and it's like the story doesn't go anywhere. So I brought it into a second write with Corey and Tori, and they're both great writers, and we kind of came up with the second verse, and then I sat down on my own and finished and rewrote the first verse. And so that song is just a Frankenstein. It ended up being 2 years to write the lyrics to that song.
I'll be. So, sometimes it takes a while, folks. Sometimes
it just didn't come. It wasn't one of those natural songs. That's why I was so hesitant to cut it. I had recorded it once already in 2021 before I finally put it out last year. And it just wasn't, I wasn't feeling it, I was just like, it's close, but I wouldn't listen to it. And that's my judgment. It's like, if I wouldn't listen to it, or like would just be like, then I don't want to put it out.
I got you. They really had to light you up.
I really have to like the story and like
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. And that's why I wonder, artists that aren't DIY artists, that don't have the final say in what they do. Maybe the big label guys, let's say, gals, they don't always have that control. And I'm sure there's a time where they go, that's
not me. Yeah.
You're going to do that song. And they got to sing it the rest of their lives to say it.
I know. I couldn't imagine. That's like, I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally a type A person. And so, like, I just don't know how I could give up the power.
Yeah. But if it happened tomorrow, this big label exec comes, got to have you on the roster. What would you do?
Ask how much money they're paying.
Because after all, it's not about the money.
It costs a lot to sell out. I'm not saying I won't do it. It's just going to cost a lot of money.
We always said it's not about the money. It's about the freaking money.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. So you got a new project that you're working on. Tell us about that.
Well, so there's that. I don't even know how to talk right now. That's so,
I do that to women.
It's so.
Sorry. You laugh.
I'm at such a crossroads right now in my music. I have so much music I want to record. I recorded a whole project.
I love that. Yeah.
I recorded a whole project at Abbey Road that was supposed to be my next EP. And
I'm glad you brought that because I was going to bring that up. You recorded a song at Abbey Road Studios.
I recorded a whole EP there.
A whole EP
and
there.
I am not in love with it.
No.
And I'm the kind of person that I can't. And so that was supposed to get me through the end of the year.
I understand.
And now I'm at the place where I'm like, fuck, I can't release any of this music because I don't love it. I'm still going to release a couple songs off of it. I'm just not going to release the whole EP. I mean, I say that, but I haven't decided yet. I am your cliche woman of like, I'm the most indecisive person ever. And some days I listen to it and I'm like, this is pretty good. And some days I listen to it, I'm like, I fucking hate this. And so I'm also simultaneously trying to record an album because I've just never released an album, and I've been in
full length.
Yeah, full length album. I mean,
on vinyl, the whole thing. Maybe.
I mean, if it sounds good on vinyl.
Vinyl always sounds good. Yeah,
like, I released an album when I was a teenager, but that's not the same, and you can't find those anywhere except for in a box of 1,000 at my house. So like, I've never really, as a adult artist that knows who I am, released an album, and I would love to do that.
Oh yeah.
And I hope you do. Finally connected with my audience, who I feel like is the right audience on TikTok. And now that they're there, it's like, wow, I have so much to share.
Yeah.
That I've just been kind of like releasing a song here, releasing a song there, whatever. So I'm in the process of recording demos, picking songs. Last weekend in Vegas, I recorded some demos. I'm also at the point where a couple labels have reached out to me. I'm not sure if I want to go that direction or stay DIY. And I'm like literally at a crossroads in life where I wish someone would just come down and be like, do this, and this. Like,
Yeah.
But I'm just going to keep recording and putting out music until I know what I'm supposed to do.
There you go. It'll come to you. Yeah. And with your talent, my gosh, I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Killer voice. When I was first starting in country radio, and this is way back, I started in country radio in 1980. You weren't even born then. And there was an artist that I just fell in love with. She had that raspy voice like yours. Her name was Lacey J. Dalton. Look her up if you don't know.
Okay.
And I was absolutely in love with her and her style. And that's who you kind of remind. I hate comparing people to other artists, but that style to me. And nobody's done that in a while. Maybe Heidi Newfield, maybe for a little while.
I get compared to her a bit.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah.
And she's a wonderful person too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You've got that unique voice that I think is going to carry you through.
Thank you.
I think when I talk about unique voices, when I first heard Stevie Nicks sing, that's unmistakable voice.
Yeah.
And then she got so big. They bring her in for BGVs, and she'd be doing. You'd hear her on other rock records, and then pretty soon she's like everywhere. It's a voice like that, and I really think it's going to serve you well.
Well, thank you. Comparing me to Stevie Nicks is mind-blowing. She's like one of my heroes.
Is she?
But yeah, well, to be honest, I don't love her solo stuff, but who doesn't love Fleetwood Mac?
Who doesn't love Fleetwood Mac? Yeah, absolutely. Not to make comparisons, but to say, your voice is it's unique enough that I think it's going to carry you.
Thank you.
And I really do. And I think you're going to get a lot more attention here. And I think you're going to get to that point. You're at that crossroads now. I think when you get past that, you're going to look back and you're going to go, wow. That's pretty cool.
Because I want you crossed.
Dream high, dream big. I
Fingers
want you to
crossed. To the moon.
To the moon. That's right. The atmosphere. Through the atmosphere. Right. I love unusual rhymes like that. Only goes up from here. Soar through the atmosphere. That's wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
Well, how about another song? Maybe one of your new ones or something?
Sure.
Yeah. Take us out with one.
This is the last one? Taking it out?
Yeah, probably. We'll talk a little bit because I want to know, more about where you're playing and your website and all that stuff.
All right. Well, then I'm probably going to have to play Ghost because that's
you've got to play Ghost.
That's my...
and you released the Abbey Road version of this too, right?
I did release the Abbey Road version of this.
Well, this is the Songwriter Connection version.
Yes, right, exactly. Well, you got the touch of a ghost, and I've been drinking. And the Lord only knows where you've been sleeping. But I'm getting blisters from carrying your soul, keeping up with the devil's put years in my bones, and I'm tired. Yes, I'm finally tired, 'cause the time passed so, and there's nothing to say. That 1065 has been backed up for days. I just wanna leave and get out of this place. There's nowhere to go, and I'm high anyway. Well, it's all in other than the sirens that are making me deaf. And you tell me you love me, but you can't hear a damn thing I've said. And there ain't enough whiskey to make this alright, or to drown out the places that you go, the nights when you're gone. And I'm all alone when the time passes, so and there's nothing to say. That 1065 has been backed up for days. I just wanna leave and get out of this place. There's nowhere to go, and I'm high anyway. Time passes so, when there's nothing to say. I sit down, passes so, when you're high every day. Time passes so, there's nothing to say. And that 1065 has been backed up for days. I just wanna leave and get back to LA, but I probably won't, 'cause I'm high anyway. There's nothing to say. Time passes so, when there's nothing to say. I said time passes so, when you're high every day. And you're high every day.
Sheyna G is our guest. I recorded that an acoustic version like that at Abbey Road Studio. What was it? I've never been to London. I've never been to Abbey Road. It's on the bucket list. What was it like walking in there? I mean, come on. It had to be.
It was absolutely magical walking in.
Yeah.
I will say it was like you said, it's a bucket list thing to record. at Abbey Road, like just all the iconic bands from Pink Floyd and obviously the Beatles and Adele and just everyone and their mother has recorded there. The magic got lost for me about an hour in.
How's that?
I am so, like I said, like lucky girl syndrome in so many ways. Being from LA and then moving to Nashville, I have recorded in some of the most amazing studios.
Wow.
And worked with some of the most amazing musicians and talented engineers. And the engineer that I had was just a grumpy Brit. And the studio was just kind of blah. Like coming from recording at Blackbird, which is actually their sister studio in Nashville, where Martina and John McBride have the most beautiful collection of guitars to pick from when you play there. And I was overseas and I had just brought like one guitar and I was hoping for like kind of the same experience. They didn't have that. They didn't have like, they had one mic to pick from. They had like, it just wasn't that like Nashville experience where you're spending thousands of dollars to be in a studio. You expect to feel like you're spending thousands of dollars in a studio. And it kind of felt like I was a burden.
Oh.
And the engineer was just kind of like I said, just grumpy. And like it was hard to get a water. Like it just wasn't. It wasn't the Nashville Southern hospitality or the California cool. It was the London cold, like just not my. And I had been sick for a week. Anyone that was like following along with me, like and because I documented the whole thing on TikTok, and I had the flu for a week before that and was throwing up both ways for a whole week and had lost 15 pounds and had to be locked in a hotel for a week. And it was just they lost my luggage, like that trip. They lost like our guitars, and it was just like the
one thing after
worst
another
experience possibly imagine. And like I'm a positive person, so the day of, I just tried to keep my adrenaline going and stay happy. But the minute we left the studio, me and my guitar player look over each other and we're kind of like, that just sucked, huh? And it was like, yeah. And then getting the recordings back, it was kind of like, okay, like it's fine, but it wasn't that magical thing I wanted from Abbey Road. You know, it wasn't that like, oh my God. The best actually thing that came out of it was the photographer, who was an angel, stayed an extra 3 hours than she was supposed to stay and got some of the most amazing pictures that I've ever
gotten. Did you do the walk across the crosswalk thing? Yeah, you got to do it.
I did all the tourist things for sure.
Oh, sure, you got it.
But it was just, it wasn't everything I wanted it to be, which is such like I said, I know I'm privileged and I know that's such like first world problem things, but you want it to be magical, and I kind of don't want to put out anything that I don't feel like that pizzazz about, you know?
That's understandable. Now I see where you're coming from. Yeah. Okay. No problem.
Yeah. But Ghost has been like a magical song for me. It's
got a lot of streams.
Exposed me to a different audience, and it's all because of TikTok. So amazing. I can't like emphasized how important it is for new artists or anyone to just get on.
We did a whole show on that just a few weeks back with AL, as she goes by. Her viral sensation, over 400 million streams.
Yeah.
With Remember the Dance, with her and Brother Joe. So go back. If you missed that one, go back.
Go back
and listen, and lots of good tips for TikTok. So yeah. Well, that's cool that you do that. Where else do we find you besides, and on TikTok, is it just Sheyna G?
So if you put in my name, you'll find me on everything, but you also might find a shit ton of spam accounts. So make sure you put in G is for gangster. It is GEEIS, the number 4 gangster. My name is Sheyna G, so my last name is GEE. That's why everything is G is for gangster.
I like that.
But except for on Spotify, I'll have to put my real name in on Spotify. So I know it gets confusing for the people, but my name is Sheyna G, SHEYNAGEE. You can find everything on my website, www.sheynag.com.
Links to everything.
To everything. And those will be the official links.
And the way you spell Sheyna is a little different. It's
yeah, my mom thought she'd be creative, but instead she just made my life harder. But
So it's SHEYNA.
SHEYNA. Yep.
Okay, there you go. And GEEG.
GE.
Gee, it sure was good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, I should be a DJ. But really good to get to meet you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and thank you for sharing me with your audience. I appreciate all y'all listening.
I'm a huge fan, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Songwriter Connection podcast. Find us on social media at Songwriter Connection. Also, listen to Dave Lanahan's Nashville Connections radio show. It streams live every Friday morning on WOBL and WNOI. Look for us on Facebook and YouTube. See you next time on Songwriter Connection.